everyone to Viva Juego. I'm your host, Chic Monster, and I am so sorry that we have not made an episode in so long, but we've got lots of changes upcoming to demonstrate for you. We won't talk about them right now. I just really wanted to get everyone together so we could frickin' talk about E3, because it is the biggest thing. Everyone's all up in arms about it. I know we're going to have a great time talking about it. Who do I have here with me? I have Cyber Toaster Epicenter, some guy named Mystic Salty, Tinyman, who's a friend of a friend, I guess, whatever. He's here, and we're gonna hash it out.
Friend of a friend, sure thing.
Mystic isn't here, genius.
Mystic is not here.
He's British, and he's leaving.
Alright, he's leaving, so forget about Mystic.
He's British.
But, alright, so this is our latest...
Let me just summarize really quick what happened to, Viva Juego Ramble. I'm Chic. Oh my god, my computer is dead. I must go on an epic quest to retrieve Windows 7.
Yeah, it's sad. It's a sad story, which I will relate to you guys all in a future video, most likely.
In song. She'll do it in song.
Most definitely in song. So, let me see. Let's start...
Should we wash over the big things that were announced, or let's go over the things
I want to do here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take each console's announcement. We got Nintendo, we got Sony and Microsoft, and we're just gonna do just a quick hit by hit of the things that, you know, what they did right, what they did wrong, that sort of situation.
What they did right, what they did wrong.
Can you talk about the Atari?
Yeah, just E3, and then do like a quick comparison. You know, that sort of thing. So,
console makes my dick rock hard. I quote Raptor there. Just
don't! Jesus, how many times do I have to tell it? We don't talk about those people on our show. I'm sick of it. I'm sick.
She is sick, ladies and gentlemen. She's gonna keel over and die very soon.
Just get some water.
So okay,
go get some water. Stop eating for a while.
Let's start with Wii U.
The Wii U is silly, clunky, and stupid, and really terrible for outside developers. But let's talk about
and it has no games coming out for it.
Let's talk about the reason that I will be buying a Wii U, even despite all that. The new Super Smash Brothers, of course.
Yes, and Mega Man is obviously going to be the...
If you heard it here first, you're living under a fucking rock.
Yeah, Mega Man is going to be the new addition. The Wii Fit trainer and an Animal Crossing person. Personally, I really want to play as the Wii Fit trainer. She looks like a badass. She's doing all kinds of crazy things, and
if you're sitting here listening to Viva Juego, and you're like, what? First of all, thank you for listening to us.
Yes, of course.
Thank you so much. but and you're like, Mega Man is the new character. Seriously, be informed. Come on.
Yeah, so that's okay. I guess none of us are really interested in talking about Wii then. So let's move on to the Xbox One. Yes, the Xbox One, and, you know, fuck it. So all they did was talk about sort of like, what I think they were trying to do in order to compete with the PC was they were trying to make it more of a television entertainment rather than gaming entertainment. And interestingly enough, even though they were trying to adapt to sort of this changing environment that we have going on here, it ended up actually, like, failing them.
Blowing up in their faces
immensely. In a big way. But there are a lot of other reasons. I mean, it's not just... I think, actually, that they were trying to adapt to the television environment. They did it rather well, but when it came to the gaming, like all these other things that we're going to talk about in a second, just privacy violations and restrictions and all these kinds of things, that is what really hurt them in the end, I think.
All that is going to be really juicy, and we'll get to that in a second.
Yes.
But the thing about Xbox is they're following the Nintendo model. The Nintendo model, which I never expected this from Nintendo 10 years ago, but the Nintendo model seems to be, let's market to non-gamers, because no matter how many gamers there are in the world, the majority is always going to be non-gamers. Yeah. So let's market it for people who want to, you know, lose weight in a fun way, or people who want to...
Here's the thing about Nintendo, though, is, I mean, they're focusing on them, and what Microsoft is trying to do is they have their core gaming audience, and then they're just completely dropping all of their needs and going to rush to cater to all of these casual, or non-gamers, should I say, over here. And they're completely unprepared to do that, because you can't juggle two completely different audiences. It's just not going to work.
Well, when you look at it from a marketplace standpoint, the Wii is a paradoxical device. It makes absolutely no sense. It doesn't support high definition televisions. The
original Wii didn't. I think
yeah,
the Wii
I'm
U
talking about
supports
the
HD.
Wii U does. I'm talking about the Wii. I'm talking about the Wii specifically. The Wii. No HD. No like high powered graphics system in it like whatsoever. It has internal memory that is not modular. It doesn't have DLC for like any of its games, and yet it outsold both other consoles by a mile. And it's this weak little machine that should not be successful, but it is, and it's because of the casual marketplace.
Yep.
It's why Farmville is a huge success, and it's also why I hate Facebook games. But that's
we all
totally
hate Facebook
not...
games, and I don't think it's because of poor design. I actually, one of my instructors is like really passionate for whatever reason. He's really into social games. He's like, they're the future, and I'm like, fuck no.
they're not. Future.
Every time somebody sends me an invite, I want to stab someone. So if the future is like mass deaths,
Hey Sheik.
Yes.
Hey Sheik, you want to play Mafia Wars?
Oh my God, no.
Let's play Mafia Wars.
Could you take care of my cows in Farmville?
I had to. No, it was so funny because
Can
we
you
had
go
this.
to Cow Clicker and click on my cows for me?
Cow Clicker was interesting because it was
Listen,
actually
we're gonna do an entire episode on Cow Clicker.
On Cow
We're
Clicker?
gonna talk about Cow Clicker.
all right.
Wow.
That's future episode, you guys. So yeah, and I was playing a bunch of social games for the class, and I felt so ashamed because in order to progress in the game, I had to like talk to my friends. I was like, I was like on Facebook, like, guys, it's homework. Just help me out here. I won't bother you again about it. I promise.
At my internship, the startup company that I was interning for made social games, and so he was like, okay, first day on the job, play all these games, and I was like, okay, and I was like, this will be fun, right? Playing games? No,
It's work.
I got to the end of like the first game, and I gave up.
And
every
you
time
lost
it asked me.
all your friends.
No, listen, I gave up on the game the second it was like, proceed to the next level by inviting 6 of your friends. I'm like, nope, not doing that. Next game.
Or not, I'm not putting that terror on them.
Yeah.
Social, casual, E3. Well, here's the thing about this thing that really pisses me off about the Xbox One, and it doesn't piss me off more than the privacy issues and all that stuff, and we'll get to that. It's going to be juicy.
Oh yes.
But what really bugs me is that Xbox feels the need to add a shit ton of features that are fixes to non-problems.
Exactly.
Like I don't need to be able to say Xbox on. I can reach over 5 feet and turn on my Xbox.
Yeah, I remember in the conference they're like, "What if you lose your controller?" And it's like,
then I can't play any freaking games.
yeah, I'm not even going to. That's not a situation that would. I don't know. They were just. They were trying so hard to force it on us, like as though.
By looking for fraud.
It felt
like,
very
check it
forceful. It felt
Check it
very
out.
forceful.
Check it out. The Kinect is going to be up and running all the time.
Sheik, are you trying to say the Kinect raped you?
Even listen, guys.
See, there's a video, and I will link it in the description. But it's absolutely
There's
hilarious.
a video of it. Oh.
No, there's a video of, I think I shared it with you guys, but they make a parallel to the Xbox One to Dave from 2001: A Space Odyssey, and they're like, just play some, can you contact Bob or something? And he's like, I'm sorry, I can't do that. Maybe you would like to play a game, and it's immensely creepy, and I think they captured it perfectly. It's just like. What were they thinking? And they're like, you want this, and I'm like, bitch, no, I don't.
They're like, check it out, you can watch TV. Great, I can do that on my TV. I don't need your box to watch TV on my TV. Okay.
You're clearly upset about this.
All
right, so I think we've talked enough about the
about the
features,
non-issues.
quote unquote features, and let's go ahead and
nobody asked for that.
yeah,
Nobody wanted
and they're forceful. That's the thing that I hated about it. It would be one thing if they're like, oh, and it can do all these things, but it was they made it appear as though we had wanted this for a long time, and it's like, no, nobody wants this. We just want the games, and
like,
I don't know.
Xbox is like, you can use your voice to do everything, and like, who in the audience stood up and went, "That's what I need."
Yeah, it's it's awful. And
no matter how hard you try, moving my thumb just a quarter of an inch over to another button. always faster.
What if you're moving stuff out of your apartment or whatever, and you're in your living room, and you're like, "Hey, what do you want me to put this Xbox on?" And then your fucking Xbox turns on, and you're like, "God damn it! I didn't want you to turn on. I was just talking to my friend. Quit eavesdropping on me."
Oh,
What if a burglar comes in and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna steal your Xbox"? And you're like, "Okay." And he's like, "Well, why aren't you trying to stop me?" And you just say, "Xbox on." And he's like, "Oh, it's one of those ones." He just leaves.
He just leaves. Okay,
Oh,
so let's talk about
the real killers here. Privacy
Yeah.
concerns, DRM ridiculous, and just all this stuff. Oh,
yeah,
God.
privacy and DRM are the big two.
Yeah, let's start with
DRM. Okay,
DRM.
we can start with privacy.
You want to start with privacy? Just because we were just talking about it, just kind of transition into that.
I mean, we can just basically talk about Xbox One's general anal rape of their consumer base.
I
We
want
can
to
do
at
that.
some point just like, can we just? What were they thinking? Can we ask that question?
Can we?
What
Can we,
were they
guys, Xbox. Here's the thing. If you treat your consumers like a bunch of dirty hackers, they're gonna become a bunch of dirty hackers. Like,
thinking? Yeah,
Here's a piece of info.
You know what
for
that
you guys.
situation reminded me of was
Before
like
you continue ranting, this is kind of important.
yes.
Xbox actually went over to the big companies like Activision and EA, and those companies said, "You make this in, or we won't make you games for you." So their kind of hands are tied, but they still went along with it.
Yeah,
No,
they're
they
not.
went way
They're
too
trying
far.
to don't be blaming other people. That's just playing the blame
Oh, I want
game
you to
there.
blame them. I want you to just blame EA and Microsoft.
Well, EA
Listen.
is. We don't even regard that. Like, I think they
Listen.
had. I think they had a
EA is evil.
conference at this. Sorry, I think they had a
All-
presentation at the conference. Nobody saw it.
all of the things that you're like, oh, they wouldn't make games. Okay, we'll get to the PS4, and the PS4 didn't do any of that shit, and all of those companies are making games to the PS4 anyway.
Yes.
You know why? Because it's one of the big three. You'd be stupid not to make games for it. Like, you're dumbass. Like, you're bluffing.
Yeah,
You're
it's,
bluffing.
so don't go playing the blame game. Microsoft
should
is
have
just
just
not.
follow
been
the
the better
bluff.
person.
Yeah, and
You know what? If Xbox had been the better person, and honestly those game companies had pulled out, we, the fans, would have risen up in support of the three. I know we would have. We all would have been like, Microsoft, you did the right thing here. Like,
yeah, I agree.
But they
I
pushed
definitely
out.
think that would have
Yeah.
happened.
They
And
totally pushed out.
here's the thing about the privacy thing is it reminds me of like in high school. You know where there's those two jerk-offs in the class, they're just fucking around all the time.
Zach
and then
and
the
Nick,
teacher
yes.
punishes the entire class, right? And everybody feels guilty like they were doing something wrong when they were just
Oh yeah, that's
they're-
what happens.
That's what it felt like, and it was ridiculous and stupid. It's like, look, people who are going to pirate are pretty much always going to pirate. You can't stop them. They'll find a way.
Well, this is the thing. It's like with
Nature finds a way.
with
Yeah.
DRMs, I'm gonna say as a developer, I agree that a game company should be allowed to protect its IP, should be allowed to make a profit off of the things it does, and it should be able to, within reason, try to control and rein in the amount of times the project can be. I don't want to say stolen, 'cause it's a strong word.
Burgled.
The product can be
Thief-
abused.
Obtained.
I
Absconded
think
with.
that is. I think yeah, obtained. Okay, very very well.
What?
Obtained. Product is obtained. Here's the thing. That all those things, they in no way can inconvenience the people that buy your product legitimately. If you in any way use DRM inconveniences the people that are legitimately paying for your product, you've completely failed. Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah. Because then people aren't going to buy it in the first place, and
Right,
that's going to be
exactly.
even less money in your pocket. So it's
We need alternate pay schemes.
God. I
The
just
thing is,
There's a
there
lot
is-
of
here's the thing.
discussion and study on it.
there is no perfect DRM. There is absolutely no perfect DRM.
I'll tell you what the
that
perfect
a
DRM
hacker-
is. What is it? Actually, recently, I thought it was hilarious. This guy was a genius. You probably heard of him, but he did like a game developer story. I think that was his game. And in his game, it's really meta. Actually, it's kind of funny. But
It
if
was
the,
two guys, I think.
was it two guys? You're making a game and you're selling it to the public or whatever. And if the game senses that you've pirated it, it will create an event in the game in which the game that you are making in the game to sell gets pirated. And
Actually, here's what happened.
you start losing money and you actually eventually lose the game. That's
That's
You
so
can't win.
meta.
I know,
What
isn't
they
it
did
funny?
was
though?
not They didn't say it senses whether or not. What they did was actually rather brilliant. Is on the day it released, they put out their own torrent that said they had cracked it, but the cracked version was this bad copy.
Ah, I see.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's actually
so good.
Wasn't
That's
it
actually what
clever
I think
though?
we should do.
Yeah.
If you're gonna release a game, release your own cracked version and fuck the player over 30 hours in.
Yeah. That's
Oh, man,
hilarious.
that's brilliant.
You'll see people coming to the forums being like, "How do I get
It
past
didn't,
this?"
even, it didn't even look like that good of a game in the first place, though. In all honesty.
What?
Oh, that is
It's an indie game though. It's 2 people.
that is truly Discord, like in its purest form. Like
Yeah,
that is
I wouldn't
brilliant.
say Discord, but I would definitely say brilliantly evil.
It's like, yeah, it's sowing the seeds of chaos. Are you just sitting back and watching your seeds take root?
Yeah, but that
In
was the
forums.
funniest thing was people were actually he wrote it on Reddit or something. People were actually contacting and like asking him like, how the fuck do I get by this or something like I don't know what I'm supposed to do. It doesn't matter what I do. People are gonna pirate this game. I can't win. And the guy's just like sitting back in his chair, just laughing. It was so meta. I can't. It was brilliant. But yeah, anyway. So, do you guys want to move on to then the Xbox? What was the other one? Online checking, online requirement.
Oh, well, there's that shit. Well, no, let's talk about. Okay, we talked about DRM in general. Let's talk about the very specific parts that do really inconvenience the people that pay for your part legitimately.
Online checking.
Here's the thing.
Definitely.
If I'm gonna buy a game for $60,
Mm-hmm.
first of all, in today's age, we have plenty of amazing indie titles. Some of the best games that have come out in the past 5 years have come out for $10 or less.
Yeah.
So
Here comes Sheik gathering about Braid.
no, I'm not going to talk about Braid. You said the B word, not me.
No,
No,
Jonathan Blow.
and
J-Blo, as we call him here on Viva Juego.
J-Lo, listen, those games came out for $10. I can buy a game for $10 and be completely enriched and feel that I got my money's worth. So when you justify making a game $60, okay, I want to be able to take that disc and give it to my neighbor for 2 days to play, and bring it to a friend's house.
Oh yeah,
and
and
play it
that
there.
neighbor has to. Yeah, you can't bring it to a friend's house. If you do, you have to buy the game again
Yeah.
at your friend's house. That was another one that I was.
Well,
I
no,
just couldn't believe.
let's not.
What
be-
were
I-
they thinking?
No,
What
you don't
were they
fight-
thinking? What were they thinking?
What were they thinking?
What was happening in that conference room in which they sat down and like, okay,
Yeah.
here's an idea. We're going to completely rob the player of all their, privacy. We're going to fuck them over. We're going to do absolutely everything to take every last penny that they've got.
No, I don't think that's how it worked. I feel like the person who was leading the conference had very good intentions. He was like, guys, let's make this next game console. Let's make sure everybody can share their games, and we'll make sure that they can trade them in, and we'll make sure that they have ownership of the disc. And then someone was like, but what if we want to make money off of more? And they were like, well, yeah, I don't really think that's in the best interest of. No, we're a business. And then he just slowly gets devoured by this giant slug beast that is the CEO
I'm
of
liking
Microsoft.
this, and I'm thinking you should make a motion comic of it.
We'll work on it. But yeah, I can't. These are the situations where you just see a product or something that's happening, and you immediately think of like, what was that conference like? What was the meeting like where
Yeah.
this was pitched? And I'm supposedly in a room full of people.
Right. Human
who-
beings with
yeah,
minds,
human
brains.
beings. Some of them with college degrees, and somebody said
I
to
would
them,
say most, if not all.
yeah, and then somebody said to them, we should do this, and everyone, or at least the majority of the people in the room, were in agreement that it was a good idea. And it's not just one feature, but every single thing that this console does is just
It's fractally wrong. It's fractally wrong.
Fractally, exponential. I can't even come up with the words to say just how wrong it is. So they didn't pitch the whole thing in one meeting, is what I'm saying. So it's just like in every meeting that they had ever had an idea, it's just stupid after stupid, and everyone's like, yeah, that's good. That will make us a lot of money. Here's the funny thing. They're using all these methods to try and get a lot of money, and after the conference that happened yesterday, how many Xbox Ones are gonna sell? Like,
oh, millions. Oh, millions.
Well, yeah,
Still.
but
Because that's how society works. It's depressing. It's really depressing. But it's
okay. I mean, obviously, you're
Each
trademark
time it happens,
negativity, but I like to
Still
think
vote for the same two parties every election.
it just takes multiple hits.
they
'cause have so
destroyed
much going.
themselves. They got too cocky, and they really did destroy themselves. I'm not saying that it's going to go down forever, but it did land a very massive blow. I will say that.
Oh, and
And it's going to
Let's
be
talk-
very difficult to recover from, because we're talking about the next generation of consoles. Most people have speculated this is probably the last generation of consoles, which
Yeah.
I like to think that I agree with. So they have first of all,
Console
PlayStation 4 is
The
going to
last
absolutely
generation.
dominate the entire next generation, and Xbox is going to kind of gently kind of limp back onto the scene. And, you know, the best they could do probably is make some great games, but you still have these problems that they're going to have to fix with this console. And it's not going to go well for them. It really isn't.
I still don't
This
see
what-
them. I don't see
Halo.
them backpedaling. Listen, I don't see them backpedaling because you can see their arrogant cockiness in everything. Like, I don't know if you saw. I'm assuming everybody here at least saw the E3 conference. There's a part where the Battlefield demo just doesn't work. Just flat out stops working for like 2 solid minutes.
Yeah.
And
Well,
they don't even. They're not even like, oh, sorry. Like, it starts and then they're just like, okay, we're moving on. And then the Dragoon game plays and there's no sound. And they end the trailer and they're just like, oh, next trailer.
yeah, I don't know
We
what
don't
they
care.
I don't know what they were thinking. It's inconceivable to me that they thought that
don't
this was a
care.
good idea. But whatever, they
Yeah.
fucked themselves over. So, anyway. All right, PlayStation 4. I am gonna
All
gush about this. I honestly don't support consoles that much because I know that they're really not gonna be going anywhere. But I have to say,
the thing you're about to say, Sheik, is I agree with you. I do.
okay, thank you. But PlayStation
Oh,
4,
they should
I
be good.
am grateful to them because they got so many things right. And I'm not talking about, you know, console-wise, but just the attitude that they had taken. They saw what Microsoft did, and they put up.
They destroyed them.
They destroyed.
They
With
annihilated
sense of
their
humor
asshole.
too.
They did.
Sense of humor is what I liked about it.
Oh yeah, no. You know what was so funny? Because here's the thing. Prior to this, after the Microsoft One conference, they were like, "Oh, okay, PlayStation, you don't fuck this up, and you could win this.
Yeah.
You could win the console war." And so everyone's like, "Oh, what are they gonna do? What's gonna happen?" And so then I watched the EA. It was later, so I had to like avoid spoilers or whatever. But I watched the conference, and I watched who's the main guy, the little chubby, fat, little blondie guy. I don't know what his name is.
I don't know his name either.
We'll just call him Mike Mikerson.
I hate you.
I didn't mean it like that.
Call him Cyber Toaster, shall we?
No. Mike Mikerson. Mike Mikerson walks out. That's not his real name, just in case anybody. He walks out at the very beginning of the PlayStation conference, and he's got this smile on his face, like
Yeah, yeah.
like, and this look in his eyes, like he fucking knows. And at that point, the second I saw him walk out with that smug little grin, I leaned back and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be good.
Yeah,
I-
he's gonna bring it.
I
He's gonna
know,
bring it, and you
'cause-
know what? He did.
He knew he was walking out, and he was like, "I am gonna make these gamers cream their pants." And
Yeah, he was like, guys, we've won. Let's give a round of applause.
I know
We've won.
He won. I know. Just
We won because Xbox decapitated themselves. All we have to do is don't not piss anybody off, and we're good. Like,
I know.
Imagine
That was
an
the thing.
army
That was a
charges
beautiful
the
thing
field
because they were like,
and
"Oh,
digs a pit
all they had to
throws
do
themselves in it."
was not screw it
Yeah.
up. I mean, just be slightly better than Xbox." But what they did was they came out and just
Brought it.
just thrashed, dominated, destroyed, decimated. I was like, oh. It was like
there's that
kicking
there's that
the
part
dead
of
horse while it's down. It's just
there's
awful.
that part of the there's that part towards the end that I think we're all talking about here, and he starts going over the features of the PS4, and he's like, I think he starts by saying PS4 is all about the games, or something to that nature.
Yes.
And then he says, when you buy a PS4 game on disc, you will be able to let your friends borrow it, or you will be able to
Trade
play
it
it, or trade it in, or keep it forever.
Retail.
Yeah, trade it in at retail, or keep it forever. And the audience stood up and, like, standing ovation.
Yeah.
Standing ovation. And then here's the thing. 3 years ago, if Sony had stood up there and said that, they would have said, well, why the fuck not? Like, what? That doesn't make
That's kind of how things
of
work.
course. Like, that's how things happen.
Yeah.
But now, because Microsoft so thoroughly screwed themselves, this was a monumentous achievement. Like, this thing that has been around since the beginning of gaming was a big fucking deal. Because they screwed themselves so bad. It was juicy.
It was wonderful. Absolutely
wonderful.
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 And yeah, I'd like to think that I did hear some rumors, and they're probably true, that after Microsoft's conference, Sony was scrambling to just completely pick up the pieces, essentially.
Sure.
And so I'm almost positive that that last
Find something to still annihilate them with after they thoroughly decapitated themselves.
yeah, just like, okay, first we're gonna chop their dick off, then we're going to burn them little by little, just like completely ruined. And we're gonna get to the games later because the games are fantastic, and
yeah,
I'm gonna gush.
This was a good year.
I am going to gush, but I like to think that last part that they put in, that they had written that PowerPoint. It looked very kind of quickly done, but they had written it after they had seen Microsoft's presentation, just to be like, oh, okay, we gotta put this. We gotta put this in.
This conversation is pretty much like we've just sort of summarized the entire E3 with the relevance of what we're talking about. Like, the PS4 was like the monumentous achievement, like the 360 was the shot in the foot, and the Wii was like the we're not really relevant. Like, we've talked about them for 5 minutes and then we moved on.
You can call me a console, but I'm not really a console. Come on.
Yeah.
That's what the Wii is going for.
Wii was just like, okay, you guys have fun with your little sissy
I'm going to say something right now, and I don't know if anybody else shared this opinion. I might just be an idiot.
Yeah.
But for the first like 5 months that the Wii U had been announced, I didn't know if it was a fucking console or just another controller for the Wii. I didn't know.
Yeah, I thought it was a controller.
I thought it was a controller, like, for a new line of Wii games. I didn't think it was an actual new console.
Yeah, I was confused about that because they kept saying it's a brand new controller for the Wii, and I was like, so it's an add-on? Is that what's happening? And
yeah, I
thought it was going to be the next, like, Move disaster where they had an add-on that just completely failed, and I don't know. That was a little shaky marketing, but whatever, it worked.
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, and then there's that thing. So then he's got the crowd, right? We're doing like a play-by-play right now.
Yes.
I would like to actually. I wish I could have the thing running so we could be like news announcers, like, oh, he's going in for the kill. Oh, Sheik, this is gonna be bloody. Like, no. So after he does that,
and here come the Nerds of Doom.
He gets the
and boom goes
ovation.
the dynamite.
He gets the standing ovation, and he has this big fucking grin on his face because he
knows
knows what's coming.
He knows.
No, he knows wwhat's coming next. He knows the next thing he's about to say, and he knows every single person in that room is about to just splooge all over the floor. And he's like, he takes great like pride and like juiciness in saying this, but when he's like, the PS4 will not need to be connected to the internet. And that simple fact is like, of course it shouldn't be connected to the internet all the time. Like, why would anybody ever do that? But again, because Microsoft are a bunch of fucking morons, he said that, and everybody just stood up, just all over again, and they threw like roses at him.
It's
like
so
he was getting bras thrown on the stage. Like, it was nuts.
Oh yeah, it's so
Out of
interesting.
Nowhere, streamers
It's interesting that the context of it is like, because you're right. If someone else had announced this like years ago, it would be like, of course. Yeah. But now the context that it's in, everyone was worried, and then it was just like that big release of relief, and they're like, finally they understand.
Collectively, gamers for the last few years were pretty ignorant about how much game companies were screwing them over with all this DRM, online passes, all that bullshit. And now finally it's snapped almost when it's too late.
Well, and here's the thing: Sony's not stupid, right? When Microsoft released their little press conference before E3, Sony was up on the social media and stuff. They were like, "Oh wow, a lot of people really hate this.
Yeah.
We should put 2 and 2 together and not do that."
Yeah. I
More
kind
like
of
we should
wonder
put
if
0 and 0 together.
I'm
Yeah.
almost
0.
curious to see just how different the announcements were going to be prior to the Microsoft conference, because I also think that Microsoft, it's very possible that Sony may have been doing some of the same things but changed their mind at the last minute after they saw the awful backlash.
I do want to talk about this one, and you should watch it because I'm sure the link will be in the description.
Oh
of
yes,
this
how
video.
to
But-
share games on your PlayStation 4.
Yeah, how to share games on your PlayStation.
That
4,
was
and
just
it's
a
like,
beautiful
Yep.
giant
Step
middle
one.
finger to Microsoft,
it's like-
essentially.
and
Salter,
like,
you seen that video?
I saw it.
It
Step
shows
1.
this like fancy
Hand it.
title, and it's like step 1, share the game, and then he hands it to the guy, and he's like, "Thanks,
Yeah.
Mark PlayStation," and then it ends. It's the best thing ever.
I'm really okay. I'm gonna gush, but I'm just really thankful to Sony. Yes, they're a giant corporate, whatever.
They're
but
evil.
they
Don't ever forget
they
that.
are evil, absolutely. But they understood, you know. They figured
Yeah.
it out on
They
their
have-
own. They were
They had the
like,
common decency to figure out why everyone was pissed and choose to
and
be the
fix
better
it.
console.
And they focused on that, and it is gonna pay off majorly.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm gonna buy a PS4.
I am. You know, that was so interesting because prior to this, I was like, oh, you know, I guess I wonder which one I would buy if
Yeah.
someone held a gun in my head. But
Right. I wasn't gonna really take any
What do you
interest
mean,
in
me.
the consoles.
But when I saw the PlayStation 4, I was like, I want to invest in this, and that's
Yeah.
of course most of that is because of the games, which we're going to talk about right now. Is just like they
Kingdom
focused.
Hearts 3, all it needs
They
saying.
focused on the games, which was just, it was like, of course, why wouldn't you? And they're just so many game after game after game after game. It was almost too much, and it was incredible. It got people excited. That's what makes you want to buy a console, is the fucking games. That's the only
Imagine that.
reason.
Can you imagine the games? What a novel fucking concept.
Yeah, I know, right? And props to Sony for figuring it out. And I'm going to gush for a lot of other reasons, but just the lineup, it wasn't just like, oh, the Call of War Duty 600, Medal
Battle Duty
of
6.
Titan.
Call
It
of
was.
War.
I also really enjoyed.
Medal of Titan. I want to take all those words and make it into an actual shooter.
Yeah,
Call of War Duty Medal of Titan.
Medal of Titan.
Or, dude, bro, my shit is fucked up, so I gotta shoot, slice you.
Exactly.
2, it's straight up dog time.
So they the variety
Call
of the
of
games
Field,
was
Battle
as
of
well. I mean, they were getting
Yeah.
everyone's attention. You got the indies, you got the JRPG fans, you got your shooters, you got your sports.
Yeah,
Everybody.
They showed a lot of indies.
Yeah, and I was the indies. That was when I
Not
pretty
a
much
single live action TV show.
Yeah, and it
Yep.
was, oh my god, they got it so right. It's so interesting just to see the comparison of the two, right?
Yeah.
You have Microsoft who got it so wrong. What the fuck were they thinking? And you have Sony who like understood that, oh, this is what people want to buy, and they put it on their console.
Here's the thing. I feel like Sony changed a lot in the last 2 or 3 months. Like overhaul, and you can tell this because I feel like there's one feature on the PS4 that feels like it's the last remnant of their old business model before they realized they needed to make a big fucking change, and that's the share button on the controller. Like, it seems like the share button is just so out of place.
I
because-
don't think so. I actually enjoyed the social media thing because that was an innovation. I think
So that makes you and
no, I mean
nobody.
I had appreciated that they were trying to be, you know, inventive or something, but with a focus on the gamers. I mean, obviously they're not reinventing the wheel, but they added something I think that really adds to the experience. It depends how they execute that share button. For example, I don't want to be playing my games and have like Farmville like requests be popping up and shit, like, you know, like
Don't worry,
Mikey-
you won't have a moment's
Mikey
peace
wants
as
you
soon
to
as
play
soon as
his
I find out your
game. Mikey
PS4
wants to
name.
check out his game. Like, that's not cool, but I like the idea that you can just, it's really instant, and there's a lot of that culture has really been growing about, you know, like let's plays and all that kind of stuff. So I think that was a smart move. I'll tell you what the business model I feel that stayed, and that was the online subscription.
Well, see, at least
Silence.
Sony's charging only $5 a month.
Yes, I'm not even mad. You know what? I'm
I'm
not
not
even
mad
mad.
I'm
Because
not mad either.
because
I pay more for Netflix.
exactly,
Like,
and they have to make money somehow. And I'm saying it's as a gift to us for all the
and
things that
here's
they've done.
how it
I'm
is
like,
right
all right, I'll
now.
pay for it. And
If you
they're
play
giving you free
PlayStation-
games. It's like, why the fuck not?
If you pay for PlayStation Plus on the PS3, they give out free AAA titles every month.
Yeah,
If you're on PlayStation Plus
it's
right
great.
now for the PS3.
It's great, yeah. And it
So-
transfers over, so it's like it's a win-win, really. I
Does the
I
PS
wasn't even mad.
now, does the PS3 play online games for free?
Yes.
Currently?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so that is unfortunately a step down, but it's again, one
But see,
needs to.
he said it's
one-
not going
listen,
backwards.
I'm in the middle of a thought, bro.
Penis.
We're back.
671812145.
Penis.
Listen,
Shattered.
listen. When oh god, he's right. No, what were we just talking about? Something about Sony. Oh. I got it back. When you enter into like the idea of gaming, like the game industry, it is just that. It's an industry. It's not like some white knighted crusade to bring interactive experiences to the
just try to
masses.
make money. I understand
it's a
that.
business.
Yeah.
It's a business, and if they need to charge $5 and put a stupid share button on their controller, whatever.
Yeah, I'm
Those
not.
came off
I'm
my
honestly not even mad. You know, it's interesting. It's like Microsoft had this shit fest with only a tiny redeeming quality. Honestly, the only thing that interested me in that entire conference was that one game, that one indie game that they made with what is it, Capybara?
Oh, Spark?
No, not Spark. Below.
Oh, Below. I haven't seen Below.
It's by the guys that made Sword and Sorcery. That was the only thing that interested me. Whereas
what they did when
Microsoft
they come to
has
Microsoft.
so many interesting features and one tiny downside. I mean, when you really
Listen, Microsoft or Sony when Sony brought their shit, they were like, okay, so this is about the games. Let's talk about Transistor. Yes, please. I would love to know more about Transistor.
Yeah,
I am so excited for that game.
You know what was also really interesting, and I have to mention this. I already brought it up, but the diversity of games and the way that they appealed. And you know what? Sorry, rewind. Earlier you said that Sony was starting to figure things out because obviously their PlayStation 3 it did well, but it didn't do as great as they had wanted it to be. I mean,
it had a rough start.
They had a rough
Actually,
start. They did.
PS3 was disliked for a lot of the same reasons, but a lot of the same feelings of hate for the PS3 when it first came out were what is going on right now for the Xbox.
Yeah,
One.
so the PlayStation 3, it really was kind of a rough and tumble kind of a situation and that sort of ordeal. But then I started figuring, towards the end, they started figuring, hey, you know what this is? This is about the gamers. This is about the people who want to play games. And the only way that we're going to figure this out is when it did. And you want to know the moment that I noticed that they were starting to figure shit out is when they made that, what was it? That commercial. You guys know the commercial for Michael.
Which one?
I don't know.
Michael, the bar, and all the game characters that are in there. And they're like, this guy saved us. And they're like, for Michael, long live play. And everyone collectively around the universe was like, this is the best video game commercial that's ever been made.
It really was awesome.
Get it. They get how it feels to be a hero. And that was amazing. And I think right at that moment, after that reaction to that video, Sony was like, oh, I see what this is about now. You know?
Well, see, here's the thing. Both companies are attempting to adapt to change. The problem is Microsoft is going the wrong way, and Sony's really going about it in a much better way. It's like there are two ways the game industry has changed, and that is, A, there's a lot of like casual gamers coming into the scene that are profitable, because, and I don't want to sound
late.
stereotyping here or somehow above, but
now you're going to, obviously.
I am going to. A lot of them are easily duped, right? Like Farmville is a game that essentially just dupes people.
Yes.
Just flat out.
Oh, that's true.
Is steals money from people.
Yes.
And people love that shit. So there's a lot of easily duped casual gamers coming onto the scene that are easy to take advantage of and easy to make a quick buck off of. But as we've seen with Zynga, and Zynga is like failing. They're not doing well right now at all. they're dying out slow and
Knock-
painfully.
Knock on wood for that.
And
Big surprise there. Mhm.
Xbox was like, hey, let's take advantage of the easily duped like masses that don't play games but are like, oh my god, that looks flashy and cool. I want to do that. And then Microsoft and then Sony was like, hey, 10 years ago, there wasn't a massive indie scene. Now there's a huge indie scene. Let's take advantage of that side of the new changes.
Yes. Oh my god, thank you.
And that was the right decision.
It was a good decision, yeah. And
they're like, anybody with talent and drive these days can get together with some friends and make a game. And that's sort of I feel like the spirit of the PS4 is that we're here for everyone.
yeah, for all the gamers, all different kinds of gamers.
We are inclusive to all the gamers and all the devs too. As a dev, I felt incredibly.
You gotta stop saying that.
Yes.
I'd like to. No, screw you guys.
Yeah, dev. I don't know.
We
Full
all
disclosure, he actually recently became a proper dev.
I did.
He did.
Fucker.
Congratulations, Cyber.
Thank you.
So now he gets to say that, but I think you should stop.
Developer.
and all that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sometimes
as
people
a
say dev, it just sounds kind of developer.
As a developer.
There you go.
Developers.
As a developer.
It's more sophisticated. Let's be honest. That's why you should use that word.
All right. So
He has
apparently,
the number of letters equal to the number of brain cells you rub together to make it.
Ouch.
okay.
Continuing on.
Fuck you, salty. As a developer,
Make it longer.
I was really developer of Pecanabicus. There, I made it longer. Is it more complicated now?
You felt.
Listen, yeah, as a developer, I felt included in PS4. I was like, if I was going to ever publish to a
Console.
if I was going to feel like I could ever publish to a console, I would probably go after the PS4.
Yep.
Because the Xbox 360, Xbox One is like you're on a first date with a girl who knows she's out of your league, and she's like just not receptive. You're like, okay, I can take a hint.
Welcome
Xbox.
to every day of my life.
I can take a hit, Xbox, like whatever. And then it's like PS4 is like the nerdy, eccentric, quirky girl who's like, yeah, come on, let's play some games.
Welcome to every day of my life.
Let's be together. And that's how I just compared the consoles to women. It was weird. All right.
Considering your
I can edit it out. It's okay.
Moving on. She's gonna not edit it out, and she's gonna not edit out the part about saying that she'll edit it out. That's what she's gonna do.
No, what I'm gonna do is the entire time that you're saying that, I'm just gonna lower the pitch of your voice so you sound like a demon.
You see, there's this one girl, and she's all not picking up on your signals, and you're like, whatever, I can take it.
Why don't they ever go for the nice guys?
Tell me about bears and rabbits.
Okay.
Batman.
This is
yeah.
devolving quickly. Okay,
Fantastic. Yeah, I really geeked that I was like, oh my god, that they were appealing to not just gamers, but all kinds of gamers. Very much focused on the kinds, all kinds of gamers. So you could be, the JRPG. I've already mentioned this list, but indie JRPG shooters, just everyone. Everyone's included, and the protagonists are varied and interesting, and there's so many different games. It's like, it's just a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer.
I want to talk about. There's one particular title that they showed off before The Last of Us, and by the way, The Last of Us, that's pretty much.
Oh yeah,
holy
guacamole!
That game looks incredible.
Yeah.
But the game before The Last of Us, about that girl who joins the military. And she's like,
Between Two Souls.
Yeah, that looks really interesting, and it looks like it has a really strong female lead.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, no, I'm really impressed because there's not enough of those.
What was the game's name?
Between Two Souls. It's the one with the face capture technology that everyone was raving about a while ago.
It looks really good.
It looks amazing.
But Kingdom Hearts 3
versus
oh my god,
versus 13 or something.
I don't care about that. I care about Kingdom Hearts 3.
I was more interested in the versus thing because I've never been a Kingdom Hearts fan. I know, crucify me.
Kingdom Hearts is so good. It's
Kingdom Hearts is so awful.
It's okay.
The gameplay. I enjoyed the gameplay, and obviously as a Disney fan, I enjoyed the setting. But it
I
was.
will say this:
I'm
it's
not.
overrated, is all it is.
It's yeah. I mean, it's gotten a little too much time in the spotlight. Whatever.
I will agree that it's overrated.
But yeah,
But
I just
I don't care.
I'm not into the Japanese, the whole like emotion thing.
Is it a key or is it a sword?
It's
Just
not my.
fucking pick one.
It's or maybe it's a key all the time. And when you stab it at people, it unlocks their death.
Thank you.
Oh my god!
I needed that. I really needed that.
It unlocks their death. Okay.
No, you idiot.
Did you
gotta
come
turn it
up with
clockwise.
that? Please tell me you came
Clockwise.
up with that.
No, I did not. It's
Oh my
from
god,
Reverse Blue.
that would have been beautiful if it was yours. Anyway, so yes, but I don't care, whatever, because they appealed to an audience, to everyone, and so that's what they.
Yeah.
If that's what they used Kingdom Hearts, fuck it, I don't care. Thank you for
Because-
being inclusive.
Inclusivity is always going to be better than exclusivity.
Hell
it's just,
yeah!
It's the fact of life.
Yeah.
Who do you want to hang out with? The people that are accepting of everyone, or the people who hate blacks? I mean, come on. You, like,
Why
if
always
one...
the racism on this show?
I don't
Zach?
know. I don't know. Like, if you have a choice between hanging out with someone who shuns a certain group of people and someone who just likes to hang out with everyone, you're gonna hang out with the guy who's more chill.
Yeah.
That's PS4.
He's
It's
more
like,
chill.
Depends on how much money they have.
don't worry, guys. Like, come on in. You grab a beer, hang out. Like, I'm not making any sense right
You're
now.
not.
There's no skeletons.
You're
in
drawing
the
all
closet.
kinds
Please,
of-
Please don't look
I
at
love
it.
how you're drawing all these kinds of analogies to like social practices. Like the PlayStation 4 is this guy that wants to hang out, but it's also a nerdy girl. That's
Yeah.
What's
Oh
going
my
on
god,
But
it's
yeah.
so hot.
All right, so and at the end of the day, I think we can all agree that PlayStation 4 won. It won so hard.
This
And-
It didn't
pod.
just
we should-
win. What it did was it made the enemy beat itself and then beat them again.
Yeah.
It didn't just win; it won twice.
There was
It
somebody
was.
somebody on the Reddit that they were talking about. They linked to like
Can
a
you do that?
Simpsons clip. I can't remember what it was. I don't really watch The Simpsons, but I thought it was like the clown. There was like a mime leaning up against a wall, and the clown just like came at it and just knocked it to the ground and started beating the shit out of this mime guy. And there's children watching, and one child's like, "Stop! It's already dead!" And I was
See-
like, "Yes."
Oh no, I know what that scene is.
Yeah.
I believe it's where the Hamburglar tries to steal the burgers.
Oh, I don't know.
Homer, acting as Krusty the Clown's like, "Oh my god, he's trying to steal the burgers!" Runs up, beats him to death. The kid's just screaming and watching.
Yeah, he's already
I love that
dead, and yeah,
Stop.
it's,
Guys, listen. I don't know how the audio is going to turn out. It's going to be kind of hard to hear all of us with Sony's dick so far up all of our mouths.
Oh, I don't care about Sony.
Like, it's not going
So,
to be very easy.
The three of yours, anyway.
It's
I was
Hey, everybody out there
I
on
love the
Viva.
PlayStation 4.
Apparently, you can
Oh.
understand me, but these guys, it's like 12 inches, man.
It's really bad.
They had to share it between them, and there's still too much.
Deep
Yeah.
and thick, baby, deep
We-
and thick.
One of us
Speaking of
took,
PS4,
You
I
cradle
wanted
the
to
balls,
game the
I'll
third
suck
again,
the
PS4.
head.
It's War Thunder.
one of us took the head, and the other two are just munching on it like it's a corn on the cob. Like we can't fit it all.
And of course, as is my prerogative, I'm just watching.
Oh goodness! All right,
This is terrible.
this was a great
By the way,
podcast,
this is
you guys.
Viva Juego.
Oh yeah, this
I-
is
I-
Viva
I
Juego.
now-
No.
I
Some-
now know that this is Viva Juego.
Some
You
other
didn't know.
some other games that mention some other games of merit worth mentioning. Even though Xbox is horrible, we've established the Xbox One is terrible. I've got this friend that I used to work with. I say used to because I quit my job. Yes. But he was super excited for the PS1 or for the Xbox One. He's like, "Oh, I already pre-ordered it." I'm like, "You made a mistake." Like, like. He's like, you're not gonna get me to change my mind about buying an Xbox One. I'm like, wouldn't dream of it. They need to make their money from
honestly,
somewhere.
not only
and
do
it's
I,
you.
not only do I really question what Microsoft is thinking, but I especially question the player that is like, no, Xbox One is better. I'm gonna get it. And
Listen,
I really
listen,
have to look at that person, and I know I shouldn't, but I really do judge them.
Yeah, you think less of them.
I
right?
criticize
you instantly
them.
think less of them.
Yeah, it's like, You know,
It's terrible.
I don't think he had a very good upbringing. I don't think
He is. Yeah,
I don't think he had a father who really
He-
taught him the merits of critical decision making.
listen, no.
I
listen,
apologize.
bad.
I shouldn't have said those things. I
I am
apologize.
trying to get back to the games that I was gonna mention.
Yes, go on.
Games of merit.
Go on.
You and the
One of them is on the
PS4 then.
Xbox One. It's called Spark, and it looks really interesting.
Spark. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it uses like game development like mechanics as part of its gameplay, and it seemed really
Yeah,
interesting.
it was interesting, but it's probably been done. It's like a Minecraft, pretty much.
No,
That's what it
it's
felt like to
you
me.
can like set up behaviors, like you can set up people's behaviors and stuff.
Okay, so it's Minecraft meets Little Big Planet.
Oh, you know what's the funniest part?
Hmm.
Bungie knows their shit because they jumped from that ship.
Oh yeah,
They jumped
Destiny.
from that
Can we talk
sinking
about
ship.
Destiny for a second?
Destiny is coming out for the PS4.
Isn't it exclusive
It's
or
not
timed
about both.
exclusive?
Smart move.
Don't know.
It's multi-console, so it's going to come out for Xbox.
It's multi-console, but they were like, since we're releasing it everywhere, we're gonna
Show
talk
it with-
about it on
with
your
PlayStation, yeah.
conference PS4.
Can I really want to remark on the commentators at E3 who was just, that one guy who was leading the pack was just overly enthusiastic.
Yeah,
And he's
it's a
like,
fault.
oh, it's this over here. We got a man down, but we got to keep on going. And I feel like the
Yeah.
guy next to him, or the guy who was playing alongside of him, was actually like, he was very visibly irritated by this
Yeah,
guy's
cringe-
attitude.
He was very cringing about it. The guy was like, "Oh man, what kind of gun did I get?" And then he reads it like he's never seen it before.
Yeah,
he's seen it probably 100 times.
I know, right?
Come on, he's played through that demo 1,000 times before the.
Yeah,
freaking
and the
convention.
guy, just the guy next, I thought it was really funny, actually. I was laughing, because the guy's like, yeah, oh, what's this? Oh, what's that over there? And the guy just
Oh,
next
what's
to
this?
him.
The Dragon Spark. I'm like, you fucking know what that gun is. Don't sit there and act like you've never fucking seen that thing
No.
before.
And the guy
you
next
probably
to
wrote
him.
out its specs on a sprite sheet, okay?
Yeah.
Like,
The guy
on a
next to him
spreadsheet.
is just like, just shut up and get behind me. Like, I love that. That was probably my favorite line.
Yeah.
He was so clearly irritated by this guy's
Welcome
attitude.
to every day of my life.
that's Salty's catchfcatchphrase.
Yeah, pretty much. And the girl, I think the girl was cool. I was like, thank you. They put a girl out there to play a game. That was nice. Thank you.
Thank you, the
although-
girl out
But
there.
her line,
who
she
made
was
it.
like,
some
as long
really-
as I can take this gun along. And I was like,
It's like,
this guy is the PewDiePie.
do you remember
of
last
E3.
year? Do you remember Sony's press conference last year? I think it might have been last year.
no.
That was like everybody was super enthusiastic. They were like, "Hey, Carol, how's it going over there on the like?" Everything was just super like done up and cheesy and corny.
Wasn't that
They were all
Ubisoft?
high.
No, Ubisoft had Aisha Tyler.
No. Oh, we were
Space
talking
Channel
about before
5.
Aisha Tyler. Oh, we were talking about Destiny.
Destiny,
Listen,
yes.
as corny and hammed up as the demonstration was, I thought that like there are certain things that they didn't really talk about, but they just let the audience wonder, and I like that about certain marketing. Like when they went into that place and they were
Fact,
like,
it's Bungie. They have ninjas to not let secrets out. This is a
Here's the
well-known
thing.
fact.
Here's the thing: they release vidocs that explain like their entire process, which I love, by the way. I watch every Bungie vidoc that has ever been released. Like it's great. They go into like a lot of details about how they design things and
So
sort
don't
of
let the
thought
That's
fucking
process.
do
cool.
it. You do it.
It's very cool.
That's what we
Um,
do, except worse. Shitty production value.
That one part where they go over the hill and it's like, it's a public event. I'm like, well, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, I was like, so what I'm thinking might be happening is you play in single player, but there are certain events that when you get to, you're suddenly connected, so that it feels like there's suddenly a bunch of people there. I don't know what's going on. But the
Yeah,
public event
like,
thing was cool. The other thing that I liked was the ghost. They didn't even talk about that, and they were kind of talking over it, so you couldn't tell. But the ghost was like a sentient AI who felt a lot like, what's the blue guy in Portal?
343 Guilty Spark. Oh, Wheatley.
Wheatley. He felt like
Wheatley.
he felt like an asshole version of Wheatley a little bit. You know?
Wheatley is totally an asshole, but he's also stupid.
No, yeah, not stupid, but like okay, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. The little robot that's like always depressed. It was like Wheatley meets that guy.
Yeah,
He was
Wheatley
like,
meets Marvin.
You
totally.
always take me to the most cheerful places, and I was like, I like
What?
this.
What? And I have to say, I had this thought earlier today, and it's that when I was watching this conference, all I could think of was, before this conference, I was really negative about the AAA
studio. I was like, the AAA studio it does not really have much of a future if they can't change.
Yeah.
And what I'm seeing is we're seeing a lot of theatrical quality storytelling happening. Like I think that's the direction that AAA needs to go in, because that's the only direction that really they have that the indie marketplace can't really compete with. Games that I was excited about. Let's talk about the game that completely took E3 by storm. It was the game that is the most exciting game, the best game in the whole wide world, better than Jesus.
Whoa, hold on.
I'm intrigued.
Can this make water from like water and wine switch places, dude?
Yeah, it can totally do that.
Bread and fish from nothing.
We're
You
waiting.
you pour it in the game case and you pour it out and it comes out wine.
Wow.
I think we're all.
That's a secret hidden feature of the PlayStation 4. Is it actually has a secret water to wine conversion built within the machine.
Yeah, no, it's part of the cooling system.
recommend you do
You
it.
pour in water, it cools your system, and then it comes out wine.
Yeah, it's also part of the waterproof as well, so it's not damageable.
Yep.
Everybody at home, please test this.
Okay, so anyway, I'm talking, of course, about Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare.
Oh yes, this is going to be the best game in history.
What?
Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare.
Oh God!
Yeah.
Can we just
Did
end
you
the
not see
episode
this?
now?
Did you not see this, Sheik?
No.
Or did you see it?
I did not see it.
You didn't see it?
I have
you
not.
played the first Plants vs. Zombies?
Yes.
It's an adorable little fun game by PopCap.
Yeah.
It's really fun. It's really great.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. She hasn't seen it yet. Oh, this is gonna be so good.
Do you want me to pause the stream, go watch it, and then come back?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
Indeed, yes,
I
do
really
that.
do.
All right, guys. We're going to pause the stream for a second. I'm going to watch it, and then I'm going to
And
come
then
back.
We're gonna record her reaction.
And then we're going to talk about the
We're gonna
Atari
not allow her.
2600.
We're gonna not allow her
can't
to
wait for
talk
it.
until she activates the stream again. So the
All right.
first,
Let's get the Mr. T game.
the
So,
first
let
thing on
me-
the stream
Let me end
will
this.
be her reaction.
Let me end this episode right here, and then we'll come back, I guess, for a little
Yeah.
bit. Just a very short period of time because
It's a teaser.
it's already tomorrow.
Next time on Viva Juego.
Yeah, next time on Viva
Viva.
Juego, Sheik talks about, I guess, a game that she hasn't seen yet. So thank you everyone
And
for
maybe the Mac Pro.
thank you everyone for
Yeah.
tuning
Shut
into
up,
our stream and our recording of Ramble. There's going to be lots of new episodes and stuff coming up. We've got great stuff planned
She
for
won't
you.
stop
I'm gonna
bothering me.
So like and subscribe.
so yeah, like and subscribe. Tell your friends.
Please
tell
don't
your
do either
family.
of those things.
All that YouTube bullshit. I'm gonna go strangle
tell people
Salty,
you don't
and
even
we'll
like.
see you next episode. Oh yeah, I've been here with Salty, Cyber Toaster, Tinyman, and Epicenter. And thank you very much.